Oh, remember that guy Tony we went to high school with who ran around you know, everyone telling everyone he was a novelist. I saw him scooping ice cream the other day, you know.
I was watching an old interview with Jerry Seinfeld. I think it was with Charlie Rose, and he said something to the effect of he knew when it was right to eventually leave the show and to stop being a part of it. And he said, if I leave now, meaning stop the show, the audience will have this thing where they will never have to say it was good and then it started to run out of gas. How does a writer know for their project or their scene even that, okay, I think I should stop now, because if I keep going, then they're going to be like, yeah, this kind of ran out of gas for me.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I call it keeping everyone in the room as long as possible, and and just because we're always trying to avoid conflict as humans, it's hard to sometimes it's even harder to keep our characters in scene when the conflict is just rocking, and let it play out, and then so I think it's more important to let it play out, and then get them out to the next scene of okay, that happened, and since that happened, now this is going to happen, and how are they going to get out of that situation? So yeah, I feel like that's for scene work. But if you know, if I was Seinfeld, I would have taken the money and said, "What, 5 million an episode? Let's go 10 more seasons." You know, but I'm not. But he's a stand-up comedian. He's not a you know, at heart. So like kind of like I get that. I'm a novelist at heart. So I'm not gonna kill the novelist in me to make a TV show work. He's not gonna kill the comedian in him to make a next season, I guess.
Sure, but in the reverse, you had a screenplay that you were working on during this lockdown, and you wanted to extend it and do it in novel form.
Mm-hmm.
So there's been a reverse too, where you realized it sounds like you weren't done telling the story, and you wanted to tell more.
Yeah, I don't know if it. Yeah, it doesn't feel finished, and I think it's weird, but it was like speaking to me too much. It just kept speaking to me, and I kept seeing it. So this is how it's showing itself to me, I guess, which is very, you know, I really don't work in the most efficient means. I should have rewritten the screenplay and started pushing it around and trying to, you know, make it happen. But that, you know, I don't know why I feel like I have to kind of re-enter it. Maybe because I was doing it as I thought, oh yeah, this would be a fun story, and it started as a fun story. Then it meant something to me, and I guess when it means something to me, that's when it kind of like, oh, this actually I do need to tell this. This is something that's personal to me that I need to tell, and that's when I feel like I'm only part of the process, and I have to do justice to this thing. I have to step up and be the very best I can be to what needs to be told with these characters. And so, when you know, I'll in heavy rewrites, I'll really know what needs to stay and what needs to go. But I do know the story, and I know where everything goes. This is when I'm just for some odd reason I'm sinking deeper and deeper, and who knows, maybe it's just a book and never becomes a screenplay, and that just everyone laughs at me to the end, and they say, well, you're in development, and I go, I know what that means. It's going nowhere. So
Development hell. That's
yeah,
what it means.
yeah.
What's the definition of that?
Oh, that's well, your book's option. Oh my God, who's interested? Antonio Banderas, he's interested. Oh my God, and it's just like, you know, like four. There was four people who called each other, and then Antonio Banderas said, "Oh, interesting," and then interesting became like he's interested, and then he's interested became like he's clearing his schedule, and he's clearing his schedule became he wants to talk to you, but not yet. So
Kind of like a Waiting for Guffman type of a thing where,
yeah, totally.
okay, right.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a game of telephone, but
And
it's
you just don't believe anything. You just smile and say thank you, yes, and then
Sure.
it's a miracle anything gets made. So
If someone's in that situation, what's your advice to them?
in the situation of getting optioned,
Yeah.
just enjoy it. I mean, it's actually a nice ego boost to have, maybe someone talked about you. It's like it's a nice
In a
ego
good
boost.
way.
Yeah, maybe it's an ego boost. Like, oh, maybe someone read your book. It's just like, oh, that's sweet. It's not even a relative. That's nice. So it's yeah. I just there's development hell, but there's also just like kind of a gratitude of, well, some people seem to care a little bit, and if it goes further, great. And if it doesn't, be working on something else. That's it's a story you need to tell. So
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. So, especially for someone that maybe is outside of the industry, they're in another state or country, and their work is being optioned, so they're not waiting by the phone like someone waiting for their date to call. Who like on a Saturday night. Oh, Tommy's supposed to call, and Tommy doesn't call. So, what else should you be doing? You should be writing something new.
being with your people and your writers and your writer friends who can keep you in check. It's yeah. I've done everything wrong. I went to my 20-year high school reunion, and that's before Jesus Jerk was. That's right when I finished my final draft of Jesus Jerk, before I started submitting to agents. And at the reunion, I was like, I'm a novelist. It's just like, and I was the epitome of the stupid guy, because I wrote a novel, but no one may ever see the light of day. Fortunately, I finally found an agent and a publisher, but it was sheer ignorance on my part to say I'm a novelist before I have a book published, before I have an agent, just because I have a draft done. And it could have been remember that guy Tony we went to high school with, who ran around everyone telling everyone he was a novelist. I saw him scooping ice cream the other day. And not that there's anything wrong with that, because probably most published novelists need to do that anyway. But I've just learned to be a little more realistic with myself, and also like kind of. I guess I had a lot of joy at the time. And plus, with that scenario, being able to write a novel after coming out of the Jehovah's Witnesses and doing something that was so utterly just frowned upon, to be creative. And that was my whole kind of life, was just crushing my creativity. So to be able to, it was almost like I come out and go, I'm a creative person. So yeah, I was Johnny Suede. I was kind of the buffoon, and I'm going to write a book on. One of these days, I'll write a book or an article on everything I've done wrong in publishing in the film industry, so you don't have to. It's just it'll be probably the largest book I've written.
But you went to that high school reunion feeling good, and you left feeling good?
Yeah.
No one tried to burst your bubble?
No.
That's good.
And I also found out that they all knew I was a Jehovah's Witness. I was trying to hide it at school. I'd be like, I would wear suits to school. When like I found out that I found the specials record, the first specials record, and they were mod and they all wore suits, and I'm like, I just got to look like that. So if I'm looking like that at school, and then I'm walking around with my Bibles and Watchtowers on Saturdays, maybe they'll just think I'm just walking around. So I thought I was kind of fooling everyone at school. But it turned out they were like, oh no, we knew you were a Jehovah's Witness, but we always thought you were cool. And I was like, there's a lot of revelations to me that night.
Interesting. And do you still keep in touch with any of those people?
I do, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And so now they see that not only did you publish your book, but then you also made the film.
Maybe they probably don't even care. Right? They get to see that they're, I get photos of their grandkids.
Oh, nice.
So, or I'll find out, one is a doctor, and he talked to me about vaccination stuff and what he's, going on there? And it's just like, yeah, in the end, they might not be readers and they might not be viewers, and that's the beauty of it. It doesn't matter. I always come into it now going, now I'm just like, I assume no one's read anything or seen anything I've ever done, and if they have, then I'm pleasantly surprised, and I say thank you. That's it's people will apologize. Oh my God, I haven't watched your film yet. And I'm like, you don't have to. Don't worry about it. There's other things in life going on, There's so.
And it's on IMDb. You can watch it. It's like on Amazon IMDb. They have a.
Yeah. It's on Amazon. It's on Prime, and I don't know. I think it's on. Someone said it was on YouTube for free, so I guess the distributor put it on there for free. Which I have no. What do you call it? I have no authority on that end of it. It's out there. People can watch it.
Sure.
Yeah. And there's the DVD too. I have the DVD. I haven't even opened the wrapper yet. It's just like, oh, okay. It's yeah. It's
like the bottle of champagne you just want to put. You want to open it to.
I don't even know where it's at in my house. I was when the Giants went to the World Series in 2010, and Tim Lincecum got like 3 Cy Young awards, and they asked him where he put them, and he said he thinks he thinks that they're in his car, and I thought that was just so like dumb at the time, and then now it's like, oh no, I get that. Yeah, it's because it's about the work. It's not about the end. It's about the middle.